Welcome to the Orion Focus Podcast, where we help you choose 1% better each day. We have a few more followers now.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on.
We have a lot of stuff going on, and we just kind of wanted to bring you guys in and give you an idea of
what's going on,
what we're doing.
You obviously have your own podcast that you probably should be posting on more. I intend to have my own, but it's the pot calling the kettle black. I haven't posted one at all.
Like, literally.
Yeah, and we just got a lot of stuff going on between the Loom, the OFC, my rentals, obviously you said the caters. So eventually when I have my own podcast, we'll kind of dive into more of those things in depth, but kind of wanted to do a quick introductory one with you, kind of get my feet wet, obviously. Again, I know, I'm nervous, whatever. We'll get through it, but kind of want to talk about some things, and I figured this would be a good way.
Yeah.
New medium for us.
New medium. Yeah, because we're going to have an Orion Focus podcast. Mm-hmm. I have my Strength Personified.
I want to have
Brittany Cooley podcast.
Maybe some of my clients, past, current clients to come talk about the program and stuff like that. I think that'd be good for OFC and
sure.
Obviously how we accomplish things over there. We should probably discuss the Loom a little bit. I don't know if it'll have its own podcast, but I'd like to do one about the real estate, like I was telling you, purchasing your first rental. I think that'd be a cool little, maybe a program to write down and talk about in a podcast. Yeah, obviously the caters is a big hurdle for me that I've learned how to overcome some things. So I don't know. I'm trying to find what avenue fits best, but I like talking about it, and if people want to listen, then fuck it. Well,
you have a lot of experience for somebody that is turning how old tomorrow?
Stop. I'm not turning anything. No, I get it, and
you've done. When I first met you, I thought you were in your 40s, not because you look like you're in your 40s, but because of how established you are and how many things that you've done. And just how hard of a work ethic. Like most men in their 30s are still kind of in their 20s and not trying to figure things out.
That's why.
You were like set when I met you and Lisa. So I was like, and then I found out I was like 1 year younger. Like we were the same age. I was like, I am like either really behind the ball or this guy is just like
ahead of it.
Yeah, way ahead of it. So
that's why I consider
maybe
myself.
It's a little bit of both.
I consider myself the luckiest man in the world. Say it all the time, jokingly, tongue-in-cheek a little bit, but my father, a lot of my experience, a lot of my knowledge and work ethic, I give it back to him because he introduced me to a lot of things at a young age, how to do this, how to do that. He took me to meetings. He taught me how to, get shit done. I don't know how else to explain it, like to stop making excuses and all this metaphorical, motivational bullshit my dad just did. So he kind of ingrained that into me, and here I am now finally realizing what he was trying to say 20 years later. But so I feel like I got a lot to do because I got big shoes to fill.
Yeah, well, you're filling them.
Well, he gave me a good head start, and not necessarily financially, but with the information, and that's more important. Anybody can give you money. Teaching you how to go make your own whole different thing. You can appreciate it a lot more now.
Yeah.
So for sure. I am lucky, and I do have a lot of experience, and I do enjoy sharing to people that want to listen. So if that is this, podcasts are a thing now. That seems weird to say, but if this is a good medium to kind of transfer that information, then I think it's worth a shot. Yeah,
for sure. Well, I wanted to ask you something before you were like, well, this isn't my podcast. This is just an interlude to everybody's podcast. This is whatever. I think, who are you? I know you're not going to like this, but, I don't think people other than, that are in your close circle, which is very small, which I'm very privileged to be a part of, and I say that frequently to everyone and to you. But I think that, people have known me, and because I've had a following for years, and people have watched me just fucking, whatever you're into. Fall out of the tree and at every fucking branch of the way, they know me. They know what I'm all about. I'm very transparent. You are not. Right. And not that I'm asking you to metaphorically get in your underwear right now, but I think I wanted to ask you, who are you?
Yeah, and
see what your response would be.
A whole new, I don't know, putting myself out there, I guess, a whole new concept to me. And I'm probably talking about my dad a lot if I'm going to be talking about me, because I'm a spitting image of him, according to most. But I remember my dad he bought his first work truck. And we used and abused the shit out of it for 5-10 years, I don't remember. But he was going to buy a brand new one for the first time ever. And he wanted to buy one that was the same color, same configuration, crew cab, short bed, because he didn't want everyone to know. He didn't want everyone to know that he was doing well. He lived in a small house, and he hid it. Like, he kept it to himself. And so I feel like that's how I should do it. But in this, space where I'm trying to share my experience and share my information and knowledge, if you will, to others that want to listen, I got to do the exact opposite. Right. So it is getting in my underwear. It is, out of my element. It's not comfortable for me to be like, oh yeah, I'm Jamison Reeves. I'm 34. Thank you. Till tomorrow. And I own 3 businesses. And
yes, you're going to be older than me tomorrow.
Yeah. It's not easy for me to do, but if you insist.
Yeah.
So I worked for my dad for 5 years after going to college and getting a degree and working on cars.
What's your degree in?
Automotive technology.
Okay.
With a Honda emphasis. I took the Honda program at Pentec. I was infatuated with Hondas my entire, life from 16 to whatever, 25. But so I went to Pentec, got a degree, got a job at a dealership. I was a Honda factory trained Honda technician for a few years. Then my dad asked me to literally, verbatim, I want you to quit your job and come work for me and help me work on the family business. And of course, he made me take a pay cut. That's just who my dad was. But I did that. We went and started. Well, he had already started, but we built the Reeves Business Park down in Towanda that my brother now owns fully. And I did everything from fix toilets to run the bulldozer to do deposits. Literally anything and everything that needed to be done, whether it was something above or below my pay grade, I did it. If he told me to go, sign bank documents or whatever, fix a toilet, like I said, shovel or plow snow, not necessarily shovel, I did it. So for 4 or 5 years, that's what I did. Literally just did anything and everything he needed to help build his little empire. He was infatuated with SimCity, so we literally built him a little city, put his own road in it. He named it after the guy he bought the property off of. And it was just, he was in his glory, so I helped him with that, I guess, up until he retired. And then my brother actually wanted to become full owner of the whole operation outside of my father, and he wanted to buy my shares in the company. After a lot of deliberation and Dad's approval, that's what we did, and I bought Decatur's. So I sold my interest in the business park. I went and bought Decatur's, and that was May of 15. So going on 8 years ago, I bought Decatur's. And I did that up until basically I met you.
Sorry about it.
I was helping people lose
Sorry about
weight
it.
on the side as a hobby after kind of learning myself how to do it, how to lose weight. I was helping friends and family. And
I love when you were like, the other day, you're like, I learned how to do it and I just teach people. I used to be fat and I learned how to not be fat.
Yeah, well, that's what happened. I was, I'm 5'7", depending on who you ask, 5'6", depending on what person you're talking to. But and I was 208 pounds or something. I worked out a lot because I had a gym in my basement, but I ate like shit. And I tried them all. Tried all the diets. Stuck with keto. Found out what true keto actually was. And I went with it. So one thing led to another. Everyone's like, how'd you lose that weight? Yada, yada, yada. Now it's helping people, you included, until you said you should really make this a thing. And that's how OFC kind of got reborn. I had the website and stuff, but I didn't use it. And you kind of pushed me off the ledge to do that full time. So that's what I've been doing with that space.
Well, yeah, that wasn't, it was more of like, okay, I'm going to post like these before and afters. Right. And I was like, and I know you're a private guy, like you're a pretty private dude, like, if for people like on the internet, we'll say, you're not somebody that pours your heart out by any means, which is fine, but I am, like, I'm the complete opposite of that. So, I wanted to share, and I was like, man, people are going to ask, like, what I'm doing. And like, can I, like, I was like, I think I asked Lisa too, I'm like, is it okay if I tag Jamison like this? I don't, like.
I think that's how you found about the Facebook page. I'm like, why don't you just tag my page? And you're like, what?
I was like, you have a page? Like, I didn't even know you knew how to make one.
I got like 22 followers.
That you haven't posted on it since 2019.
Right.
And I was like, okay, well, I'm just letting you know, like, the floodgates are about to open,
And that's
and you're going to have a huge opportunity here to actually create this into, because I know you're a money guy, you like money.
Hey.
And I was like, you really should be a thing. Like, I remember finding your Instagram and I had like nothing on it, and I'm like,
Yeah. The
what?
first week I posted some stuff, and that was it.
I was like, what? Like, what are you doing? Like, all this, like, you know, potential just dormant. Like, you weren't doing anything
So,
with it.
and you were absolutely right. That sprung into, you know, getting a few other personal clients and trying to figure out how to be a coach to multiple people on a whole nother platform, and had, you know, figure that out, which is fine. I like figuring stuff out, but I didn't really even, I guess, see the possible potential of being a coach for people, and that obviously turned into making the program for people to download, and yada yada, one thing led to another, and here we are almost a year later, right? We've helped dozens
I
of
was,
people.
at this point,
I don't know if
last
we
year,
said
I was
100.
working for, like, I was doing some things for,
I think
like, I
April
was,
was our first. So, I mean, in the last 12 months, we collectively have helped a lot of people.
yeah,
We did a little bit of math. It's well over 2,000 pounds.
yeah. 2
2,000
tons.
Well, one ton. It was over 1 ton. 2,000 pounds
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
of body fat.
Yeah.
Lost. That's kind of crazy to think about. Yeah. So in that time, I've also started the real estate company.
Yeah.
I'm up to 7 units as of today. I got a closing in about a half an hour on my 6th and 7th. It's a duplex. I want to talk about that in future podcasts about getting your first rental property if that's something you're into.
I know, you went from 1 to 7, like,
Yeah. I set out
in
last
less than a year.
Yes, I set out last year. I started in, I think, June or so, and I wanted to get 5 by the end of the year. I got 5, and then I want to do another 5 this year, and this will be my first 2 this year. So we're getting there. I don't know. I see a lot of ways to go. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, you got all this stuff, or you're doing all these things. When are you going to stop?" I don't have an answer to that question because I don't see the end. But speaking of which, my brother and I just went into business together in my fourth company, I guess, Reeves Legacy Investments, and that's how we purchased the loom. And hopefully we do big things here as well. On top of my rentals, on top of Decatur's, on top of the consulting, I plan to make this a real opportunity for not just me, but a lot of people. I think we can help the community. That's the state of New York and the village of Waverly really wants to see something done with this place, and so we're going to try to make that happen for not just me and my pockets, but the community. I have employees that live in Waverly, and they're like, "You see this bullshit? There's nothing for the kids to do. There's 9 weed shops, though."
Yeah.
Not that I have a problem with it, but
12.
There's 12 now?
Yeah.
The article I read said 9. So I see this as maybe a first real chance to make a change locally.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's big opportunity here for more than just me. So that is our latest venture as far as what we're doing, and obviously the loom is going to become home base for OFC. Hoping to do some.
I got my office!
We got an office finally.
In
which
less
I
than
told
a
you was
year.
gonna happen.
It's so cool.
And now we're planning on putting up more events, maybe some events for our clients to kind of mingle. So we have tons of aspirations, and just trying to fill them is where we're at right now. So, that's kind of a quick background on the little bit I've done in the last 10 years.
Do you sleep?
Sometimes. No, it's going up. For about a year, I was sleeping only about 4 hours a night, and I don't know if that's, and I was rested. It wasn't like I was, dragging my ass out of bed, but I think being super strict with keto and not eating carbohydrates and stuff has a lot to do with that. But I know I got a weird brain, so that probably has something to do with it too.
It's very, very weird. It's not like most.
Well, I don't think the same as most people.
Right. Obviously, that's why that you've been able to accomplish everything that.
As a brag or anything, but I don't know. I was waking up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning and ready to go. So I started writing. And that's also something else that's happened because of you. I have a bunch of hidden writings I should probably start putting together. I don't know if I'll ever write a book, but that's another goal I have.
Yeah. You need to write a book. You need to write several books.
It's easy to write about my father. So that's kind of been my opening is I see no selfishness in describing him or talking about him and how he's pushed me and all that stuff, even though he's passed away 3 years ago. every day. Like he's on my ass. So
Yeah.
it's easy to write about him. So hopefully that'll turn into something more than just scribblings in OneNote.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So, like I said, that's a little bit about myself for anybody that's interested.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Seems like it. Now that you just
Yeah.
said it all.
Most people are like, hi, my name is this, I'm this, and this is what I do for a living.
Well,
Like, just,
I mean, that's all business stuff. I obviously have a family, 2 kids, a wife.
yeah.
Again, part of my luckiest man alive.
Mhm.
They're there too. My wife, obviously Lisa, wouldn't be doing probably a lot of this shit without her help.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel lucky in a lot of regards, and I feel like if I am that lucky, then I should probably fucking do something with it instead of just lay around and reap the benefits. So
Yeah, well, I don't think I've ever even seen you lay around, ever. Like, do you actually lay around?
yes, of course
Okay.
I do sometimes.
Okay.
Like when I'm playing chess.
You play chess?
Yes, I've been teaching myself to play chess.
Okay.
I need something to keep my brain busy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's not restful to me. Like, that sounds stressful. I don't like it.
It's not an easy game to learn.
Yeah, well.
Well, that's enough about me. You're up. We're going to talk about you a little bit,
Okay.
especially what you have coming up for even the people that do know you.
Okay.
You have something very important happening this week. So
Yeah,
you want
2
to talk
days.
about that?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to get my bearings after being in a car for
Yep. you got-
24 hours pretty much
You got your
last
baby
2
back
weeks.
too?
I got my baby back. Well, if you don't know, my name's Brittany Cooley, legally Fuller, but my public name is Cooley. I have a 2-year-old baby. She is everything. I never saw myself as a mom. Like, I wanted to be a mom, but I was like, I couldn't see it. You know, I just saw myself being this like crazy, fun person with like purple hair and partying all the time and just being,
Fitness coach.
yeah, you know, working out and drinking margaritas until 4 in the morning and running races and just being like absolutely just, you know, I guess eccentric is the word. I don't know.
Alright.
Just
Wild.
being wild. Yeah, I was wild. And so I wanted, you know, it just seemed like it was so far away, like ever getting married or having a baby or anything like that. I just felt like it wasn't in my cards. Like I had a lot of life to live. Like I'm not trying to, you know, but, and you know, my baby was not planned. And so at first I was like, oh my fuck, like I'm like initially I thought my life was over. I was like, it's done.
And
Like
you realize
this is
just,
it.
Just had begun.
Yeah.
Is that
And
crazy?
kids
Kids will do that to you.
she is the best thing that's ever happened to me. And you know, I'm learning I'm like in this whole new space of co-parenting, and that's been very difficult and challenging, but it's benefiting my baby. So of course, like I'm putting my best foot forward in that.
But you were without her for a week for the first time.
Yeah, I have never been without her
And you
that
just
long.
got her back last night. So
Yes, it was so good. So we made it home from North Carolina, and
And you have
Here.
Was it Wednesday?
yes.
Wednesday?
So I graduated from Lock Haven University in 2011, and in 2019 I was asked to come back to the university and do a university-wide presentation on my story. And COVID kind of shut everything down. I had a few things lined up with high schools and other collegiate
Other speaking
other
engagements,
things, but
period, about your
I
story.
still did a few on Zoom during the pandemic, but I mean, it pretty much shut down. Every opportunity kind of just closed up, as the whole world did for a while. And then I just like, I think a month and a half ago or so, Dr. Granick contacted me and asked me to come back. So I'm very excited. I'm returning to Lock Haven University for my second presentation there this Wednesday at 7 p.m.
That's cool.
Yeah, and
Kinda crazy.
I'm teaching 2 classes the following day. I'm doing 2 seminars for the social work department.
That's huge.
Because I've worked in the field for 10 years, and I've had versatile experience through many populations and different career paths within social work. So I guess they want my expertise, and I mean, I have a lot of it. Like I'm very proud of the work I did in my field for when I did it. It's definitely not easy. It's not challenging. It does not pay well, but I was definitely built for it. You know, the life that I've lived, there's no better person to work in that field other than me. And I felt like I had to, but I put in 10 years, and I was like, I'm done. It doesn't work me well, you know.
Well, and then kind of our paths converged, and that
Yeah.
was about the time that I was making OFC a real thing, and we decided for you to quit your job, remember?
Yeah, I have that. You're like, you know what? Like,
if this is something you want to do, just
fucking quit. And I was like,
what?
Really? I was like, cool. Like, this is great. It's funny. Like, you trade a 9 to 5 or whatever to work for yourself, and you work 24/7, and that's true. But you've given me, like, I do obviously work for you. I am your employee, but I feel it's very much. I work for myself. Yes.
I mean, we don't
have
a punch clock or nothing.
No, but when you love what you do, it's not work. So I literally feel like I even think like I need to put cameras in our office. But I literally feel like I just dick around all day. Like, I'm like, this is my job. Like, this is cool. Like, it's just.
That's why it's a good fit. You were very public and very open and posting everything, and you have a book and you're a speaker, and so this kind of fits for you. And hopefully, this continues to be productive for both of us, and we have success in it, so we can continue doing it. I love it. I do. I enjoy. It's crazy when I see like a before and after picture on somebody that I've helped lose weight. Obviously they're happy with their body, happier with their body, but the beginning pictures, they're always, there's nothing in them. Their eyes are dark and they're not smiling, and then 40, 50, 100 pounds later, they can't do anything but smile when they look at the picture, when they're taking the picture, and it's just. That in itself is kind of pretty powerful. So helping people, I know you get probably a similar high when you help people. They tell you that you've helped them with your story and your experience. This is, I feel I might get those same feelings or those same, that same rush of being able to help somebody. So if you are able and willing, why not?
Yeah, well, and if you, my whole thing is, using your struggles to build your strengths. Right. That's like my foundation, and I can either let my like past experiences and traumas and all the terrible things that I've experienced like weigh me down and ruin me,
you could be a depression,
or I could, and I mean I am like I do have,
but you're still doing,
but if I use every awful terrible thing I've experienced, I've used for good and built something beautiful out of it, and I am very proud of that. I don't it's hard in this area when you are me. You're open, and people are just like, wow, she's just so full of herself, or she's so obsessed with herself.
Whether they love you or hate you, everyone kind of knows who you are, or they've heard about you. Most everyone.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's Brittany Cooley. Campbell. Like in your books in the shop, I've had people like, I know that girl from somewhere. I'm like, yeah, the internet. Somewhere on the internet.
That doesn't sound good.
Well, it's not like, it's not like that.
Not yet. No.
But no, that's
it's
hopefully we can continue to do this.
Yeah, well, and you've given me the space to be able to like function freely and not feel
look
like
at us right now. We're sitting here with this podcasting equipment, like
it's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, like I don't know, we got
in this
video
big-ass
equipment.
Building
Yeah, we got this new building. We're in the basement of the loom, and so I think this is hopefully, I believe it to be a stepping stone towards greater things for OFC, the loom, Brittany Cooley.
Jamison Reeves Global, that's what we call it.
Jamison
Global Jamison
Reeves.
That's what. Yeah. Well, it's what it is.
Yeah.
Like
everything that involves me.
Yeah. Which is everything.
But you obviously have some stuff you're going on too. So.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of the Orion Focus podcast. Make sure you rate this 5 stars wherever you're listening, and stay tuned for more episodes helping you choose 1% better each day.